is that a part of his game that people overlook? And when you saw that, was that one of those moments where as a coach you think, yes, this is what I want from my team. This is what I want to represent me, I guess. That spirit.
Yeah, I mean, our strikers have to defend. It was always like this. And don't say it because I don't praise what Mo Salah is doing, and without mentioning Sadio Mane, but Sadio defended the second post in a lot of moments, especially at Brentford. We had to defend there on that side. So we need the boys there. We know what Bobby and Diogo are doing in the center and stuff like this. Yes, you are right. This is one of the moments when I see Mo chasing back, winning a ball. It's for me a great sign for a good game, and meanwhile, even for him, it feels really good. It's not that he thinks, oh my God, why do I have to run here? So it's really like, no problem. Because a lot of things we changed, obviously, for the better of the strikers, how flexible we are offensively, stuff like this. That's a risk you take. That means there's a moment when neither the midfielder nor the right back is exactly in the position where you would expect them to be, which is good for the offensive part, is not so good for the protective part, and that's why then the boys have to chase back pretty long, but they have the speed for it, so why not? But yeah, it's one of the happy moments in a game, to be honest.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. Joe Bernstein.
Jurgen, Manchester City don't play with an ordinary number 9. We know. What sort of challenge does that give you?
Oh, we don't do that. So ask them. So yeah, it makes not. But it's last year already most of the time like this, and then Ilkay Gündogan arrived like 500 times in the box and scored from close range. So I thought, okay, how is that possible? So that's not. Yeah, if football would be that easy that there's just a number 9, mark him, and then they cannot score, that would be really great. So it's the decisive area in and around the box where City traditionally, at least since I'm in England, always have enough options. Which number they have in their back is really not important. They bring in players in all the moments. The wingers are similarly influential like ours are. So it means I don't know how many goals City scored in close range with a square ball in the 6-yard box. So you would think to play against City, the whole world is defending against City. So there's one area where always a defender should be, or more than one defender, that's in their own 6-yard box. But in the end, they just square a ball, and the second post is one completely free. And that's not because all the other teams are dumb. It's because they do that really well. They pass the ball in the right moment. The positioning is close to perfect. So that's why it works out that often. So I know. Now they didn't score 500 goals, and the whole world is talking about they need a number 9. Yeah. Imagine they would have a number 9 on top of that. So yeah, it's a luxury problem. Let me say it like this.
Okay. Last 2 questions, David Lynch and then Richard Jolly.
Jürgen, the exemptions we were talking about earlier are obviously contingent on players having been double vaccinated. Now, there's a report that came out this week that suggested only 7 clubs in the Premier League have got over 50% of their players vaccinated at the moment. I just wondered, do you play any role in sort of convincing players to get their vaccination, particularly as now there's a sporting reason as well as a health one to convince them?
Yeah. So we have, I think I can say we have 99% vaccinated. I didn't have to convince the players. It was more a natural decision from the team. I can't remember really talking to a player in a 1-1 situation and explaining him why he should, because I'm not a doctor. So what I would give, like I do in a lot of other situations as well, I would give my advice, but it was not necessary. So it was not necessary. But in general, I know meanwhile it sounds like we are not allowed to give people advice. So where did I get the knowledge from that I think it makes sense to get a vaccination? I called doctors, which I know for years. So, and I called them and asked them, what do you think? What should I do? That's how I usually work. When you don't know about anything, you call a specialist. So, and the specialist tells you, from my point of view, I would tell you this or that. And that's why I took the vaccination, obviously, because I'm in an age group where it is obviously not that easy anymore, where it could be tricky. And I was really happy when I could get it. So, but I don't understand, maybe I'm a little bit naive, but I don't understand 100% why we are not allowed to give advice. So why it sounds like if I say I'm vaccinated, so and other people say, how can you say you're vaccinated? How can you tell me I should be vaccinated? I explain it for myself. A little bit like drink driving. Means that we all probably were in a situation where we had a beer or two and thought we still could drive. But after law, we are not allowed to drive anymore, so we don't drive. But this law is not there for protecting me when I drank 2 beer and want to drive. It's there for protecting all the other people because I'm drunk or pissed and want to drive a car. And we accept that as a law. So we all know that alcohol is bad for our body, but we still drink it. But it's not good for our body, but we still drink it. With the vaccination, we assume it's not good for our body. Even all the specialists out there say, or most of the specialists, nearly all of them, maybe there are some specialists out there and say alcohol is good for the body, I don't know. But most tell us the vaccination is the solution for the situation in that moment. And that's for me exactly the same. I don't take the vaccination only to protect me. I take the vaccination to protect all the people around me. And I don't understand where that is a limitation of freedom. Because if it is, then not being allowed to drink and drive is a limitation of freedom as well. But we accept that. But the other one, who definitely leads to massive problems if we don't sort the situation, we do like it's a limitation of freedom. If that's not allowed, how can you tell me? We are not allowed to ask people if they are vaccinated. But I'm allowed to ask a taxi driver, are you drunk? And he said, well, I don't have to tell you. I said, okay, then I don't drive with you. So no problem. If I show up in the office, I'm drunk. So then I can go, and then they can send me home or they can even sack me. But we are not allowed to ask people. I might be really a bit naive, but I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. I got the vaccination, yes, because I was concerned about myself, but even more so about everybody around me. If I get it and I suffer of it, my fault. If I get it and spread it to somebody else, my fault and not their fault. So that's it. And as again, we are vaccinated, the players, nearly all, pretty much all, and that's it.
Thank you. And final question, Richard John.
Hi, Jurgen. Just wanted to ask about centre-backs. We don't often vote centre-backs Footballer of the Year in this country. Ruben Diaz won it last year when all of your centre-backs were injured. Virgil's won it in the past. Are we getting more recognition for centre-backs? Has the standard raised? Have people like Virgil raised the bar? Have they become more important tactically? What do you think that is?
Definitely. The game changed again for not the last 2 years or whatever, but in the last 10 years. So everything is much more tactical than it used to be. Tactics is actually to be influential in the size of the pitch. It means the pitch has a specific size, but with the things you do tactically, you can decide how big the space is actually what the other team can use. And for that, you need different lines. And one of the most influential lines is the last line. So it means that you need a completely different skill set. Meanwhile, it's not enough to win challenges in 1-1 situations. You have to organize a whole defensive setup. You have to be good on the ball. You have to be fast, physically strong, technically good. So, yeah, center halves of nowadays are a different animal. I don't say that other center halves from the last 15 years ago, I don't know, Rio Ferdinand or John Terry or others, that they were not good. No, they were good. But why they didn't get the recognition, I don't know. But meanwhile, obviously, people have a more detailed look on that and think, yeah, centre half can be player of the season as well.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you. That's that. And just to remind everybody that this section was under a 10:30 embargo for Saturday, the 2nd of October, and that includes reference, even if not quoting information used there, because obviously there's quite a newsworthy line to Dave's question there. So the stuff can be used from 10:30 on Saturday. Thank you very much, everyone. Stay safe, and maybe speak to some of you after the game on Sunday. Bye.